Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we'll work on the final packet tracer skills assessment part 2, and we will do the configuration for the devices in this topology. And for the following, we will work on the default route, floating route, and static route for these routers. And also we will configure the host routes for this network, especially for this server, and also we'll define the DHCP pool and configure it, uh, as well as do the security for this switch, especially for the ports are in use, and we will shut down the ports that not in use. We will work also to enhance the local area network security by with the DHCP snooping, dynamic ARP inspection, etc. And also, finally, we'll configure the wireless local area network for this network, and we will use the radius server to authenticate the users to so they can connect to the network. Let's start with the part one. Part one here is to configure the switch security. In this part, actually, we will configure the security features. We will enable the security features for this switch for the ports which are in use, as specified here. The fast Ethernet 01 to fast Ethernet 05 are active switch ports, and as well as this port which is Giga Ethernet 01. This linked the router, central router. Firstly, this is the switch. We will configure the Vlan. So enable config T. We will create the Vlan. The command to create the Vlan is Vlan 10, and we will name it. So this Vlan is name users, and we will create the other Vlan, which is Vlan 99999. We'll name it unused. Step 2 is to configure the active ports. As I said, the active ports here from interface range F0/1 through 5 and G0/1. These are the active ports. We will configure them with the static access port in VLAN 10. So the command is switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN 10. This is the VLAN for users. The second part here is to active port security. We will do all these 5 steps all together. We will configure the port to accept maximum of 4 MAC address, and when violation occurs, we will configure the port to drop the frames from unauthorized MAC address, as well as we will do the MAC address should be present in MAC address table for the maximum 10 minutes. And all these steps, the first step is to interface range F01 to 5 and to the first one, configure port to accept maximum of 4. So we will switch port security maximum 4, switch port security. When violation occurs, violation. So here it says to drop frames when unauthorized MAC address and log it, as well as send alert. So for this one, we will select restrict, and MAC address should be present in MAC address for maximum 10 minutes before they are removed. Switch port security, aging time 10 minutes, and port should add the learned MAC address to running configuration. So we will use switch port security MAC address sticky. The last one, to configure the MAC address of PCA as a static address on port Ethernet, fast Ethernet 01. So we have to know what's the MAC address of PCA. The way that we can know is to use ipconfig/all, ipconfig/all. Here is the physical address, which is the MAC address. Copy it, and this is the command: switch port MAC address, paste. So we have to, this one is only for Ethernet, fast Ethernet. So I will issue again no, because should be only for the port facing PCA. So interface, which is interface F0/1, and now we can issue the command. Yes. Well, now we have done with the this part. Now we protect against DHCP snooping. Exit IP DHCP snooping. The first one is active DHCP snooping globally. DHCP snooping. This is the command for the globally, snooping globally, and active DHCP snooping for the 2 VLANs that you are configured. We will use the same VLAN we just created. And configure the ports limit, the rate 5 DHCP packets per second. IP DHCP snooping limit. This interface command, so we have to put in an interface range F0/1 to 5 G0/1 IP snooping DHCP limit rate 5 packets. And now we configure the port that links the central router to be trusted. Exit, and the port is interface G0/2 G0/1 IP DHCP snooping, trust. Well, we're done with this one, and now we will protect against ARP attack by implementing the active DAI. By the way, here these 2 points can be actually configured with one command, IP ARP inspection Vlan 10 999. This is the command, and then we configure the port that link to the router, the central router, as trusted. Interface G0/1 IP ARP inspection trust. And then we will secure from STP spanning tree by configuring port fast and BPDU guard. Exit interface range. This is the interface command. Interface range F0125. Here we go, spanning tree port fast and spanning tree BPDU enable. Done. Now we will secure unused switch port by moving exit by moving all unused switch port to VLAN 99, which is unused VLAN. Interface range F06 to 24 and G02. These are the interfaces which are unused. So first you have to move switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN, and last one, deactivate all unused switch port. Shut down. Done. Now we will configure the addressing and the Dhcp. This we will work on this area for the wireless local area network. This router branch 101. Firstly, we will configure the subinterface 10 on the router interface that is connected to the switch S41. This is the switch and this is the interface we're going to configure. This is G000. So it's subinterface. So we'll use this command. Enable config t interface G0/0/0.10, and should be connected. The router should be provide a router on a stick to VLAN 10. So this is the command, encapsulation dot 1Q, and to VLAN 10, this one, and then configure the subinterface with the address from the addressing table. As I said, here is the interface, and the addressing table for this is the interface, subinterface, and this is the address. IP address 192.168.10.1 and the subnet max 255 255.255.0. We have done this one. Step 2, configure a DHCP pool for the wired local area network users. First of all, when we start to configure the DHCP, we have to exclude the router interface addresses that are static. So for the WLC management has a static route, and also for this interface we have a static route. Exit. This is the command ipdhcp exclude address for the interface. We just configure 192.168.10.1, and for the address of the WLC is this one, WLC, this one. So the same command, excluding address 192.168.10.254. Now we will identify now we will work on the configure the DHCP pool that will be using connect the Wlan, and then this is the name for the pool, ipdhcp pool. The name is wireless local area network hosts, and the configuration pool address to be this one for this network. So network 192.168.10.0, subnet mask 255.255.255.0, and default gateway, default router 192.168.10.1, and for the DNS server address from the addressing table, this one, copy DNS server, paste, enter. Well, we have done with this one. Here, this one, step 2, and the step 3 is to configure an interface as the DHCP client. Which interface? The interface that is connected to the cloud. This one. So the interface connected to the cloud is this one, is the G001. This interface we will configure as a DHCP client, means that this interface will take the IP address from the ISP routers, from the ISP. We will work on this one. Exit. IP interface G001, IP address DHCP. This is the command, and we can see it's already, the IP address has been assigned for this interface. Now configure static routes. We will configure firstly the default route for this router, and as mentioned here, we will configure the central and branch 101 routers, static router between all networks, And yes, we will start with this one. So we will configure IPv4 first as default route to the cloud network using the Ethernet link. This is the Ethernet link as a primary one or a preferred link, and use the serial link as a backup. Here it says use an administrative distance of 10 for the backup route. So for the serial, we will use the AD as 10, and we will use the for the Ethernet connection, we will give we will use the next hop. I mean, for the Ethernet, we will use the direct connected for IPv4, and for IPv6, we will use the next hop. For the directly connected, we should use the exit interface here and there for the IPv4, and for the next hop, which use the IP address of the next hop interface. Let's start with IPv4. This one is the exit interface. This for central. Enable config T and IP route 0.0.0.0, 0.0.0.0. This for the default route, and the exit interface is G0 slash 0, sorry, G0 slash 0 slash 2. There is a warning message. It says if it's not point-to-point interface, so may impact the performance of the network, but since we have these point-to-points, so we will ignore this message, this warning. Now we configure the preferred link. So the backup link is via serial link. The serial exit interface is S0. This is the command, but we will change the exit to S0 slash 1 slash 0, and the administrative distance is 10. This for the backup. Now for the IPv6, it should be configured with the next hop addressing interface. First command that we have to do it is to enable the IPv6 routing in the router. So this is the command IPv6 unicast. This will enable IPv6 routing, and then IPv6 route the default route. This is the command, and we will use the next hop interface address. So this one is the next hop for the ISP router. The ISP router is the interface, so this is the IP address, IPv6 IP address. Sorry. Yep. Here. Go. Paste. And this is the preferred via Ethernet link, and for the backup should be via serial. The backup for this is the interface branch 101 S01. This is the interface, so the difference is only B, so I will use the same, but I will just change B from here, and the administrative distance is 10. We have done with the route, default route, and we will configure now the static route to the remote office. We will use the same guidelines as above for both. Actually, this is only for IPv4, so IP route the network here is 192.168.10.0. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, and for the IPv4 as is specified here, we should use the directly connected. So the Ethernet is the preferred one. So the exit interface is this one. G0/0/2, and the backup is the serial with S0 slash, just to make sure, yep, S0/1/0, and the administrative distance is 10. We have done with the static route to the remote local area network. We will configure for this router, the last one is configure IPv4 and IPv6 host routes to the central, on the central router to this area. So we will configure to the this interface, this server. So we will use for the server, for the IPv4 IP route, the IP address for the server is this one. So 192.168.168.3.122. The subnet mask is 255.255.255, and since it's for the host route, we should use 2032, which is 255, and for IPv4 we will use the direct. So the exit interface is S0/1/1, and for the IPv6 route, we should use the next hop interface address. Firstly, here's the copy paste /128 for the IPv6, and the next hop IPv6 address is the IPv6 address of this interface for the office this one, for the office router. So this is the next hop interface address. Sorry. Yep. Paste, hit enter. Now we have done with these two routers. I just want to make sure this one is done, but just for this router I want to make sure that to enable IPv6 routing, config T IPv6 unicast routing, done here. Let's see what we have else. This done. Yep, done. This we have done it. This we have done it, and this we have done it as well. Now we will configure the static route on branch 101. Actually, I just want to explain something here. In this step, we will configure the static route for the remaining 3 networks. The remaining 3 networks that we have to configure is this network, and this is the second one, and this is the third one. The default route we already configured for this routers to be used the cloud path when we have when the packet IP address doesn't match the IP address in the router table. So we'll use the packet will be forwarding to this path. But now for the static route, we have to configure for all 3 networks. We will start as the same guidelines. For the IPv4, we will use the direct connected, and for the IPv6, we will use the next hop interface address. Sorry, this one, yeah, okay. Enable config T IP route the network, the first network, this one. This is a network for IPv4 192.168.1.0. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, and the exit interface, this one, G0 0/0/1 as a preferred one. And for the backup, we will use the same network, but the serial, the interface is S0/1/0, and the AD is 10. This is for the first network, IPv4. Now we will configure the IPv6 just to make sure the IPv6 routing is enabled. So we will issue this command, IPv6 unicast routing, IPv6 route. This is the network 2001 DP8 ACAD 1:/64, and we have to, as we said, for IPv6 is the next hop interface. So the ISP router interface G001, and this is the IP address. Copy, paste, and the same thing, the same network, but we will use the backup link, the next hop, this one for the central route, S00, this one, and this IPv6 address. I think it's the same, just B is different. Yeah, that's only B. We'll change only B. B1, and the administrative distance is 10 for the backup link. We have done with the number one. With this, we will configure the second one. This now will be so easy. It's the same. Enter. This one is the for IPv4. We will just change the number 2 here. Everything remain as is, and enter. For the backup, we have used the serial, and we will change this one to, for IPv6 we use this one, and we will change this number to 2, and for the backup IPv6 link we'll use this one, and we will change this one to 2 as well. Hit enter. We have done this link, this network, and we will work on this one, the last one, and we will issue the same for the IPv4. This is the preferred link. This one is 3, and for the backup should be the serial link. We'll change to 3. And for the IPv6, this is the preferred one. We'll change to 3. And here is the, sorry, yes, here is the backup one. Change it to 3. We have done the static route for the 3 networks for the branch, and we have done all these 3. Now we will configure the wireless LAN using the wireless LAN control. This one, the admin host, will go to web browser. We put the manage IP address, and don't forget to put it HTTPS. It's secure connection. And as it says here, when we log in, the username is admin and the password is admin as well. Admin. We get into the WLC. First of all, we will configure the VLAN interface. So we'll go to control and interface, a new VLAN. Interface name is Wlan, WLAN 10, and the SSID, here, and the interface use the VLAN 10 for users. Hit apply, and we will do the configuration or setup for the VLAN VLAN 10 which we created now. Use the information in the addressing table, configure the addresses and setting in the interface. The interface will be using the DHCP pool that will be assigned address on the network configuration on the subnet sub-interface which we created, and the VLAN 10 router. So the port is 1, and the VLAN identifier is 10. It's correct. IPv6, the IP address is 192.168.10.254. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. The gateway is 192.168.10.1, and it says here to use the subnet interface, assign the VLAN or router branch as a primary DHCP server 192.168.10.1. We have done this one here. Apply. Okay. The second one is to configure the wireless LAN. We'll go to wireless, create a new, and the name is Wlan 10. The SSID is SSID 10, and the ID is for the VLAN 10. Apply. Well, now configure the WLAN to use the WAPA 2. First, we will enable this one and to be managed by this, as it says here. Sorry. Okay, and we will use the WAPA 2. WAPA 2 is this one. And to enable the WAPA policy, enable this one, 802 These the two commands because we're going to use the radius server. If we want to use the radius server, we have to enable the 802.1x. Next, open the advanced the radius. Before that, actually we have to configure the radius server. I forgot it to configure. I will just go to configure now. The radius server is in security, radius new. The IPv, the server IP address is for the radius. It's from addressing table here, this one, 172.168.1.100, and the short secret is rad secret, rad capital secret, rad secret. Apply, and now when we go to our Vlan, we just create it now, hit 10. We'll do the setup, management, enabled. If we this should be enabled here, so it can be broadcast the SSID for the wireless local area network. And we'll go to security just to make sure that we have WAPA here, and the encryption AES, and for the radius we have to enable the 802.1x. We'll go now to the server. Here we go. And now advanced. For the advanced, we have, as mentioned here, open the advanced tab and scroll away to enable the flex connected and flex connected local authorization. And the last one, we have to verify, enter. But to verify that, we put this one, and we can see our wireless created. See, it's used for the security. We will use the 802, which is for the radius server, which it will use the radius server for authentication. Next, configure DHCP scope for the management. DHCP scope. The DHCP here is controller. DHCP scoop. Create a new one. We'll name it wired underscore admin. Hit apply, and we will use this range 192.168.100.240. This is start address, and the end address is 192.168.100.249. The network is 192.168.100.0. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0, and the default route is 192.168.100.1. Apply. Now we have done all this. The step number 5 is to configure the SNMP server. From management, go to SNMP server, and we'll go to drop receivers, create a new, name it as branch wireless, branch wire, branch wireless, and the IP address of the, this is the same IP address of the radio server, 172.16.1.100, and hit apply, and done. Now we will configure the last step is to configure the wireless host, the laptop, which we have it here, to connect it to the network. To do so, we will go to open the laptop and go to PC wireless. We have to configure, create a new wireless profile. So from here, profile, hit new. The name of the wireless profile is WorkNet. Okay, and then advanced setting, we will just check, make sure that verifies the wireless local area network. It's SSID-10. Hit next, and the security we should be the WAPA 2 enterprise. This actually for the radius. Hit next, and the username, the login name is user1. The password is as specified here, user1 pass, P capital, user1 pass. Next, and save it, and we will wait to connect the network. We just have to wait for a little bit. Waiting for this one. Done. See the connection, and everything is working now. We have done with this topology, and thank you for watching.